The Super Tuesday primary results are finally in as of yesterday, and the results are mostly unsurprising. On the other hand, the media's reaction to Trump's near sweep is also unsurprising. Hello, I'm Mike Huckabee with your March 7th edition of The Breakdown. If you get to the end of the video and find it informative, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel below. Be sure to click the notification bell and leave a like. That way YouTube will show this to a whole lot more people. Donald Trump steamrolled through the Super Tuesday primaries, winning most of them by staggering margins and racking up enough delegates to compile an insurmountable lead. Nikki Haley did finally win an actual state, eking out a narrow win in Vermont, a state that's so liberal they send socialist Bernie Sanders to the Senate every 6 years without even bothering to apologize to the rest of America. It's also an open primary state, so it's assumed that a fair number of Nikki Haley's voters there, they were Democrats making trouble for Trump. But he'll still get about half the Vermont delegates to add to his huge total elsewhere. Now, there was one other area that Haley previously won. That was the District of Columbia. But I think Trump should wear that as a badge of honor, that he didn't win in the swamp. And with that, on Wednesday morning, Haley finally announced that she was ending her campaign. She didn't endorse Trump, but she called on him to reach out to her voters to unite the party. Here's a little piece of her speech.
It is now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party and beyond it who did not support him. And I hope he does that. At its best, politics is about bringing people into your cause, not turning them away. And our conservative cause badly needs more people.
Ironically, in his victory speech, Donald Trump concentrated on the importance of the November general election, and he never attacked Nikki Haley, never even mentioned her. And it's true that now that the nomination battle is all but over, he does need to pivot, reaching out to as many voters and former opponents as he can. But he did take a shot at her on social media, even as she was giving her withdrawal speech. I confess, I think it would have been a classier move to be gracious. Still, it's pretty hypocritical of Haley to lecture Donald Trump on the need to reach out to others when she spent weeks simply repeating the Democrat National Committee anti-Trump talking points. She's now refusing to endorse it, even though he's going to be the candidate of the party whose values she claims to hold. And she previously made a public pledge to endorse whoever was the nominee. You can criticize Trump all you like, and no doubt he often makes it easy. But you can't say that he doesn't mean what he says. As for Biden's results in the primaries, he racked up lopsided wins in the Democratic primaries, which was to be expected considering he's the incumbent president, and the DNC poobahs pretty much drove away any challengers. A decision, well, they may now be regretting. There were fairly decent-sized anti-Biden votes of up to 19 points in several states, and Biden actually lost the primary in American Samoa to some unknown long-shot candidate by the name of Jason Palmer, who no one ever heard of. That may not mean much in the larger scheme of things. I mean, American Samoa doesn't have any electoral college votes, after all. But it does show the deep dissatisfaction with Joe Biden, even among his base. Some may be upset that he's been governing so far to the left, others that he's not far enough to the left, and maybe there are some who are clear-headed enough to realize he's just been a general disaster. But whether they decide to vote for Trump or a third-party candidate, or just stay home and watch The View, none of those options bode well for re-electing a candidate who barely won by a cat's whisker in 2020. In other Super Tuesday news, a ray of hope for a return to sanity was spotted in California when Reagan-esque Republican Steve Garvey came in second in the jungle primary to fill the late Dianne Feinstein's Senate seat to Adam Schiff. Somehow the fact that Adam Schiff's not even a resident of the state isn't stopping him from running in California. That means that Steve Garvey and Schiff will face off for the seat. While I hold out little hope that there are actually enough sane people left in California who haven't already moved out of that state, who will be there to elect Garvey, hey, I'll pray for a miracle. Or maybe even that Californians will at least develop enough shame not to elect the famously odious liar and demagogue Adam Schiff as one of their two and only senators. Another good side effect of that race, one of the House's worst Democrat members, Katie Porter, gave up her seat, which is, by the way, in a swing district in Orange County that could go GOP in November. She did that to join the Senate race, and she came in third. That means she won't be in the House or the Senate, which I kind of like to think of as a gift from God to America. Finally, according to Super Tuesday exit polls by Decision Desk headquarters, the number one issue among Republicans is immigration at 44%. Actually, that ought to be called border security because entering the U.S. illegally is not immigration. After all, words mean things. That issue was followed by the economy at 28%. Those seem like pretty reasonable concerns to have right now under the circumstances. Of course, the multimillionaire elites over on MSNBC scoffed at the notion that you would be concerned about immigration.
I mean, if you look at some of these exit polls, I mean, I live in Virginia. Immigration was the number one issue. Yes. I mean, again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very, very contested area.
Build the wall. Like, what?
Somehow, it's still a little surprising to me just how out of touch with reality elite leftists really are, especially those over on MSNBC. By the way, in case you didn't know, Rachel Maddow gets paid $30 million a year by MSNBC for a once-a-week, one-hour show. Of course, she doesn't feel the effects of illegal immigration. Among Democrats, the top issue is abortion at 27%, followed closely by the economy at 25%. That's right. With all the things going on around them, rampant crime, open borders, unbearable inflation, weaponized government, the looming threat of World War III, their biggest issue is that they might not be able to get rid of their babies right up until birth. That is a terminal case of tunnel vision, if not moral depravity. Maybe those Democrats who think abortion is the most important thing in the world should consider moving to France, which just became the first nation to enshrine abortion as a constitutional right. But wait, despite all the celebrations by feminists and other pro-abortion activists, the right to abortion in France is still limited by law to the first 14 weeks of pregnancy. That's just inside the second trimester. So it's official. The Democrat Party's position on abortion in America is far more radical than the laws of rabidly pro-abortion France. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel by clicking on the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I'm sure you did. By the way, tune into the live stream tomorrow at 1:30 Central. We'll be covering more of the news of the week, and I'll answer questions that you have and can have the opportunity to send in. And if you'd like more of my views, analysis, and commentary, sign up for my newsletter. Go there at MikeHuckabee.com. It's totally free. That's it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.